let me tell you, I have hopes of being on SNL one time, and I feel like this just ruined my chances.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
If Celine Dion is the musical guest, it's going to be a problem.
You're going to have to at least address it in a bit.
I know. Listen, it was a podcast. You were right.
It was a podcast. I was young.
You were right to fire me.
I'm literally 75 years old, but I was 24. Yes.
There's a meeting in my bedroom, and girl, please don't be late. There it is, Gentiles and little mamas alike. Welcome to another phenomenal episode of My Mama Told Me,
the podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of Black conspiracy theories.
And we finally work to prove that Cam Newton's outfits are just CTE, but make it fashion. That ain't nothing but a brain-damaged man putting on the silliest shit that he can come up with the few brain cells he has left. Tell me I'm wrong.
Brother.
You're not wrong.
This is fucked.
That's why it hurts. That's why it hurts.
My whole sense of style in high school is derived on
sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cause sometimes Cam does some stuff where you're like, remember when he was wearing like those big old lady earrings, like the giant ones? That seems like that could be because you got hit hard.
That's come on, broken clock, baby. I get what you're saying. There was a point where you'd see him dressed and you'd be like, God damn, this nigga is fly. He looking good. I want to look like Cam Newton. And then the next day he puts on some shit where you're like, that would have been a huge mistake if I would have started to shape my closet based off of this very cartoonishly dressed man.
Are you talking about the most recently, those little pants?
I think we can
like
go
the
down
the little pants.
It's everything. Every time I see him, he's wearing everything
it's a lot
in his
of
closet.
Shit.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. And you can already hear our guest today, and we're so excited that she's here. I think part of the problem is the number of things that he puts on along with the physical, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just that you made a bold choice with an auntie sweater. It's that you made a bold choice with an auntie sweater and a grandpa turtleneck and a fucking belt that don't really go with it.
I do think it's worth noting for the listeners that Langston is currently wearing a pink hoodie with complicated drawstrings.
Okay.
Two Cameron favorites.
Okay. You mean the new face of Kith? Yeah, Cameron.
Don't do that to Killer.
No, he is.
Do that to Killer.
He is.
I know, but I don't like the way that you said it.
I respect him very much. I'm a big fan, and I pray that his homophobia lives on forever, untainted by the changes in society. I pray that nobody ever takes his homophobia away from him, even as we as a society evolve and grow into understanding that kind of maturity is almost shameful at this point. Our guest today. Oh yeah, you're David Bory. I'm Langston Kerman. Who the fuck cares? We're here. Yeah, our guest today. We're so excited that she's a talented comedian, a writer, a producer, a creator of all kinds. Most importantly, you know her work from Yes We Cannabis, which is you can currently vote for it in the podcast section of the NAACP Awards. If you are voting for the NAACP Awards, and Whitey's get in on it too. Don't you white devils, don't you feel at all ashamed to go on the NAACP website and vote for the Image Awards? But if you do decide to do that, you should be voting for Yes We Cannabis, which I had the lovely opportunity to play a part in. It was so fun, so funny. She's dope. Please give it up for Rochée Jeffrey.
Yes. I need that everywhere I go from now on. That needs to be accompany my entrance. Yes. Yes. I'm excited to be here.
We're so happy you're here. And frankly, you came to us with a conspiracy theory that, Bori, we talked about. I don't think either of us were very versed in.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, it wasn't one that we were super aware of. I think I had heard the words, you know what I mean? Like I had heard it talked about before, but I had never done any version of a deep dive in. So this is really exciting. But you said, my mama told me.
The Willie Lynch letter is real.
Indeed. Yes. I grew up in a very Black area. And so we would talk about it all the time. And when I went to a Black college, and we would talk about it all the time with confidence, little did we know it's believed to actually not be real at all.
Yeah.
Believed by who?
A lot of research. There's a lot of research that says that some of the words used in the letter like actually didn't exist at the time that the letter says that it's from. And
that's how they get you every time.
Yeah, all these fact checkers wanted words to be the same since 17, whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before we deep dive into all of this, I guess, let's begin right at the start. Talk us through what this Willie Lynch letter is. Let's make sure that our listeners are as versed as you are in terms of what it is, what it represents, and where it comes from for you.
Yeah, so the Willie Lynch letter is a letter that Black people love to cite when we're acting up. And it says, because they say that some slave owner taught American slave owners about how to control Black people without lynching them. And that was like to separate us based on skin color and age and all sorts of other stuff. And but the letter appeared for the first time to anyone's knowledge in the 1970s. And no one could really find like the true origin of this letter that's from this slave owner, Willie Lynch.
Yeah, so a slave owner named Willie Lynch, apparently in Virginia in 1712, he's a British slave owner in the West Indies, apparently like goes in front of a colony on the bank of the James River in 1712 and gives this speech where he explains to all the other slave owners, like, hey, I know y'all have been having all kinds of issues with your slaves. They keep on running away and not listening to you and sucking off your wives and shit, sucking their titties. They suck your wives' titties all the time. It's terrible.
Doing?
I don't know. This seemed
Are you
like
okay?
No, I'm not good, man. What do you want from me?
You sound like you got horny as you were saying that.
Yeah. It started as a joke and then it got like
he
real.
He just kept saying it. He's like, sucking their titties.
Frog! You're a freaky frog! You fucking freaky frog!
Oh, God.
I thought it was frog.
Let's find out. Langston is out here searching Willie Lynch and porn.
Yeah, talk about what else he was doing.
Listen, if y'all read a different letter than me, just say that. Just say you ain't read the same letter as me. Don't try to embarrass me. Just say, hey, our letters might have been a little different.
I cannot.
But in this supposed speech, he explains to all of them, hey, despite the problems that you're having, I have insight on how to make it so that your slaves never rebel, so that you get the best out of your specifically Black slaves, and then explains in detail, supposedly, how to fix all the problems with the slaves.
Yeah. And the funny thing is we use it now a lot. People will throw it out and be like, see, this is what Willie Lynch, that's what he wanted. This Willie Lynch figure.
Right. Well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
When you first heard this, because you said you grew up in a place where it sounds like they were telling you, yeah, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
When you first heard it, were you bought in? Did you believe in the Willie Lynch letter?
Old white men from the past being crazy and saying crazy shit 100%.
It's not hard to believe.
It's easy to believe any conspiracy theory around a white man from the past doing some crazy shit.
You just summarized. That's the thesis statement for this entire program.
That didn't take much. It doesn't take much.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like, oh man, where'd you come up with this? This feels almost magical, what you're suggesting. A white man trying to control other people.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if it is fake, I know a white man faked that shit. I'm gonna be
that's where I propose we start with this.
Okay. Tell me more, Bori.
Who made it? If it was a fake, what is the benefit of faking this? It's something more diabolical than I think I could wrap my head around. But I think, as a group effort, we could really get to because that's the question, right? If it's been debunked, the question is who put this out and why.
Well, here's what I'll say is that for me, the Willie Lynch letter feels like it's meant to represent a bit of an allegory in the way that like we read like Bible stories and we aren't necessarily supposed to believe that Goliath was like this giant and David, hit him with a slingshot, whatever the fuck.
That nigga was 6'4".
Yeah.
It was just a big fat dude.
Yeah, it was just the biggest man in town.
It was Cam Newton.
He
had a little ass tunic. Yeah. Skating around.
And frankly, Goliath couldn't fight for shit. But no, I think it's meant to be an allegory, like, that like, hey, straighten up. Try not to create these sort of like infights and negative relationships inside of our community. And so I had always interpreted, or at least in my brief understanding of it, I'd interpreted it as a Black invention meant to teach Black children and Black people to be the better version of themselves because of the sinister work that white people are doing. But I'm deeply fascinated with what y'all are suggesting of this actually being a white invention. And I'd love to hear more about that.
I mean, what you're saying makes the most sense, truthfully. But like the cynical part of me is always like, this is so like crafty and sinister in a way that
you can say it's sneaky. We
call them sneaky over here.
Yeah, we call them blank eaters. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, one of us calls them that. The other one's never said that out loud before, but yeah.
Yeah. I definitely feel like it could go either way, but it just feels it's a strange thing for a Black person to craft, in my opinion, because then you have to, you had to get into the minds of like a Willie Lynch. But also, the more I say it, Willie Lynch sounds like an invention of a Black person. Even that name.
Come on.
That is the initial thing that I felt when this came to the table. That does not sound like if you make me draw Willie Lynch on a piece of paper, it does not look like a British man.
From the West Indies? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
He's wearing some type of workwear.
No, you mean Willie Lynch, the nigga that brought the Black Eyed Peas? Yeah, I know Willie.
Schools? Willie?
You mean Willie Lynch who would be yelling at his wife and nobody say nothing because he's crazy? Yeah, no, we know Willie.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, the more we talk, I'm convinced it's a black man.
But that's fair because I think it's like the name is not good. It's like when you hear white people name fake rappers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's it's not even grounded somewhere in any of the truth.
No, it's like a little peep pop, and it's like, come on, bro.
Ice banana.
Yeah, you hate us so much that you won't even do basic research to like learn how to make fun of us.
Yeah, that always does hurt. Where it's like, respect me enough to give me proper satire.
True.
That is my biggest issue with the way that white people make fun of us is like, I really study y'all. You know what I mean? Like, I really put in the work to make sure that, like, when I'm making fun of white people, I'm using all of the correct weaponry to make this an effective-ass argument. And instead,
you know how many 80s sitcoms I had to watch to know that you look like Kirstie Alley? Come on. Don't do that to me.
Well, that's the thing. We are fluent in whiteness because we have to be. Like, we literally know everything about them, and they don't be knowing nothing about
anything. It blows my mind when they don't notice.
I was explaining to a group of white people yesterday who Birdman was. And it's like, Come on, that's a major figure. That's a major player in our shit. That's not a fly by night ass dude. He's a big part of the community.
Yeah, they love the big timers.
That's it. They love the fucking big timers.
And they don't even know their names.
That's crazy.
Is few who knew Birdman, I bet you even less know Manny Fresh by name.
That's nuts.
The black famous thing is real, man. There's so many people who are black famous that white people do not know who they are. Like Cheryl Lee Ralph before she decided to sing when she won that Emmy.
Yeah.
She was at a Hollywood Reporter roundtable about being black famous and how white people didn't recognize her. And half those white people who were standing up giving a standing ovation had no idea who this older black lady was.
No clue.
They didn't know how long it took me to learn her name and stop calling her D.
Yeah.
They literally did not know.
They had no fucking clue, but a bunch of black people near them stood up and they didn't want to be no, she's right.
But sometimes that works in our favor. Like when you get them to clap for like something they wouldn't have. Like they really didn't listen to any 3 6 Mafia music even after they won that Grammy. You know,
that's true. Yeah,
and that's like I'm glad they still got their shit off.
People shitted on them for shouting out George Clooney, but I thought that was pretty cool. When they won the Oscar and they were like, yo, shout out to my man George Clooney. Because you know what it was? They had a fun ass time with him in the green room. And he had a fun ass time too. And he didn't expect that to become public knowledge. And they were like, nah, George, you was fucking around with us back there and we fuck with you. Yeah.
Man, if I went to a party and no, go ahead. No, I was just saying. You go.
Hey, make sure you fight about it. Make sure you two wrestle back and forth.
Let's go. No, I was going to say there are so many white people that black people secretly love that we don't talk about often. But George Clooney's on that list. Celine Dion, that whole controversy at the Grammys. We love Celine. That's our white aunt who's married to our black uncle. We love her. Like, that's just
the amount of pride an older version of me used to take in R. Kelly writing a song with Celine Dion. I thought that was so fucking cool. I was like, yeah, Celine, cool. She hang out with R. Kelly. And now in retrospect, that's not cool, Celine.
Listen,
you shouldn't
don't
have
take the feeling away. Don't take the feeling away.
You're right. I should keep that.
Yeah, keep the feeling.
You just ruined Celine Dion. You just did it.
You brought them both down.
Celine Dion. Jesus.
I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. They made a great song together too. I don't know if y'all have heard it, but it's a fucking
I don't even
banger.
know what you're talking about.
No, I don't want to know that it exists.
No, they have a song together and it's gorgeous. I swear to God,
I want to see the
gorgeous.
documentary about them meeting each other.
Meeting each other?
You don't think they met?
I don't think Celine Dion hung out with R. Kelly.
Man, that's how it went in my head.
Yeah. You think that they
But like weirdly, he
lunch.
flew up to Canada.
Oh, you don't think she came to his turf?
I hope not. She would still be there.
Yeah.
You don't think that
the spider lets it fly like that into his web and lets it go?
You don't think that there were 3 little black girls roped up in the background while she was singing her ballad?
Damn it, Langston.
Langston.
Bro, I understand bits too, but
would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming?
I'm reporting the news. If you cowards are afraid of that, well, then I suggest you find a new podcast to enjoy.
Oh my God.
So Rochée, you are a young person. You are hearing this. You are bought in, it sounds like, to some extent, at least by these older people telling you that this is a real thing. How much are you sharing this with another audience? How much are you being like, hey, have y'all heard the good news? Can I tell you more about the Willie Lynch letter?
Of course. I feel like there was, especially in college, because I went to Howard. And so at Howard, you're talking about slavery at the club, at lunch, on the yard. So I'm sure I threw it out many times as a way to win the conversation, win the debate. Until I realized, like, somebody was like, girl, that's not real, right? And I was like, oh. It's like when you find out, like, Steve Harvey's hair wasn't real. It takes away, like, your childhood, and it makes you rethink everything.
Yeah. No, I was a firm believer in that hairline, and now nothing.
I had to take his picture off the wall.
You had a Steve Hightower picture on the wall?
Well, just like is what you could have his hair as an older man.
I thought it
was
Martin's
aspirational.
Still up there, though. Martin's still up there.
That was an aspirational hairline, like the length, the way that it just sat, like it defied gravity. It gave me hope.
It was, for me, not even the precision of the hairline itself, but it was the frequency, or rather the lack of any evidence that it ever was out of place that made me excited, where it was like, damn, my man don't never get caught slipping once. Like, you never caught Steve slipping even for a second. And that should have been the biggest tell for all of us. It wasn't the actual hairline. It was that, like, oh, he don't have one off day. There's never even a moment where it's not exactly where it was before.
100%. And honestly, after watching Cat Williams' interview, he said a lot of things. Some of it was true, some of it was a lie. But the Steve Harvey thing, I knew was a fact. And so it gave a lot of credibility to everything else he said, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's true.
He said Steve Harvey's hair was fake, and I was like, that's true. So
yeah. And I don't want to speak out of turn, Bori, but I think we're firm believers in everything that Cat Williams put out into the world.
85% of it, 90% of it.
I think I believe it even in even the things that I know to be outright lies. I believe in the emotional truth of them in a way that I won't refute it.
100%.
What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Argue with him? No, he's right. Yeah. That man was right.
He's right, and he's fast.
He read 3,000 books at 8 years old in his heart, and that's what matters.
Prove him wrong. Is what I say. Prove my man wrong.
Exactly.
So, Rochée, you believe it, you are spreading this to others, and then somebody comes into your world and sort of pops this bubble and says it isn't real. How much of that have you then carried forth? Are you now a person sort of like when the Willie Lynch letter still gets brought up? Because I imagine people in your life are still occasionally being like, that's like the Willie Lynch letter, or, they talked about that in the Willie Lynch letter. How much of that are you going, actually, y'all, wake up, that shit ain't real? Or are you letting people continue to live under this sort of allegorical umbrella?
The last one. I don't believe in correcting Black people. I don't want to do
it.
I don't want to debate it. I don't want to have to prove it. I just keep believing this. This is my service to people, is doing this episode.
Yeah, it does. I think that was beautifully put. There's no reason to correct Black people on some shit that like they feel that passionately about. You just got to kind of let that be. And to the Cat Williams point, an emotional truth, even if it isn't a literal one.
100%. And there's all this, like, there's an article about it. Like, they were like, yeah, it's probably not true, but I mean, there's a point there, right? And so, like, a lot of this stuff is valid. So why argue with your cousin about it? Like, keep the peace. Keep the peace.
Bori, before we go to break, where do you fall in this? Are you a secret believer in the Willie Lynch letter? Do you believe it to have been written by a white person? What are you feeling right this second?
I believe if maybe the specificity of Willie Lynch is not real, I believe in the possibility of something like this, like the idea of someone giving maybe more sinister slave tactics to help owners with difficult slave. That to me, like the specificity is maybe like, but that type of thing seems very realistic to me. That, you know what I mean? So maybe it wasn't this one specific day, but yeah, I could see white people trading nasty tactics to subjugate people.
Okay. That this is more about
like a sharing of information in that way, right? Because that's the idea of this, right? Is that he did that one time, and then they were all like, "Oh wow, did you hear what Willie Lynch did?" And they implemented all these ideas.
Yeah,
so maybe not, like I said, like not that specific, but I think that idea, yeah, I do believe in that.
I like that.
He did like a TED Talk to them.
Right.
Like, and they were like, this is the thing. We got to go spread the word.
And maybe if it wasn't one TED Talk, though, it was like some nasty, nasty man found out ways. You know what I mean?
Nasty man.
Nasty man.
Nasty man.
It was weird when I said it. I thought if I said it more times, it would get me out of it.
Nasty, put some clothes on. I told you. Yeah, no, nasty.
The nasty man. Just sucking, as what Langston was saying, sucking on those titties.
Yeah, sucking on
titties.
Titties. Like white titties. Yeah, I do think.
I wish I didn't say it so many times. I do. 3 was a lot. I know that.
I do think, to that point, one of the things that does make me start to if I were to be swayed towards this being a white conception, it does feel a little like proud that this man stood on the riverbank and he addressed the various slave owners who all gathered together, when in fact, if we're really talking about what this shit probably was, well, it was a drunk motherfucker at the bar being like, y'all got to get y'all slaves to hate each other or whatever it was. And it's not this glamorous sort of like proud moment, but more just a sloppy alcoholic who then planted a seed for a bunch of other evil motherfuckers to go do some other shit.
That sounds about accurate.
Yeah, that feels good.
Yeah. So maybe we'll find out. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with more Rochée Jeffrey, more My Mama Told Me, and we're going to keep talking about the possibility that the Willie Lynch letter is real. All right.
Would you say that you're racist?
Not at all. No.
Yeah.
Look at my dog. He's as black as can be.
And so are we. We are back discussing
Oh my God.
the Willie Lynch letter.
The seamless transition, my man. Yeah.
I've been working on it. Can you tell?
That's going to be a part of my outro, my intro too. That audio, wherever I go.
All right. Good. I'm trying to put you in a position to win.
Oh man.
We've talked a little bit about the Willie Lynch of it all. One of the things that sort of becomes an important part of all of this is that this slave owner, William Lynch, again, was said to have given this speech in 1712, but there isn't a lot of evidence of the individual actually being a person, or certainly like the individual is not traced anywhere specific. There's William Lynch of Lynch Law, or is at least a person that is connected to the terms of the Lynch Law and lynching, who was born in 1742 and died in 1820, he was basically 77 to 78 years old, according to Wikipedia. But there isn't a lot of evidence in his Wikipedia or in his breakdown of him having given this speech, as much as he is just famous for being a guy that they've connected to that.
Yeah, there's a guy with the last name Lynch who was doing some shit. But
yeah,
that's where it ends.
Yeah,
really,
there's not
the connection.
Not a lot after that. They just kind of go, yeah, William. That seems like a guy who probably did some wild shit, and there it is.
I mean, to speak to the conspiracy theory, though, how important is it that this guy was real or was not?
That's a good question.
Like, if we're taking the lessons from it, that like does it matter? You know,
I don't know. I will say,
maybe God didn't flood the earth for however long, but I still don't want to covet my neighbor's wife. Like, does it need to be real? You know what I mean?
That's a word. I actually think that a lot of what's in the Willie Lynch letters, I think there is some relevance today, for sure. We do a lot of the things the letter says that we do. There's colors and there's all sorts of stuff. So whether it's true, maybe it's a fable, maybe it's something we can learn from, and I do think it holds a lot of weight to it's very applicable to what's going on right now.
And I will
call motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
I will say to that point, one of the things that it reminds me of, and we've talked about this before, Bori, on the podcast, it reminds me of that supposed secret meeting that happened between all the record executives in the 90s late 80s, early 90s, whatever it was, where these supposed white record executives all get together and they decide that gangster rap is going to be the preferred music of choice so that they can sort of like introduce larger rises of violence and drug use in the Black community. And I think that it's not, we talked about it on the episode, it's not true that like record executives made that choice. They just didn't necessarily have like some big formal meeting where Sony sat down with Arista, sat down with whoever the fuck to make it all happen.
The unconscious mind is a powerful tool, right? Like maybe these things weren't at the forefront, but it's like because they felt these things about these people, it moved in that direction, right?
Yeah, that's 100% true. And I remember weirdly watching a documentary years ago. It was actually a documentary I used to teach with that was narrated by Esther Roll. You guys remember Esther Roll from Good Times? Yeah. Esther Roll was a part of this documentary where it was sort of talking about specifically the propaganda around how much of our history in America is just rooted in white propaganda. That like basically in Reconstruction, right? Slavery ends and they have to suddenly employ Black people, or at least in theory, Black people have options to free themselves or be free and employ themselves and like live inside of society. And white people aren't figuring out quickly enough how to make money off of that shit or how to take advantage of it. And one of the things that they talked about is that like they started introducing imagery relating to Black people as a way of depressing our successes. That like the image of a Black man who loves watermelon and is lazy and all of that shit was just them trying to use propaganda to make it so that we couldn't get jobs. That like they were basically being like, oh, the Black man is lazy and he don't do no work, so that's why you shouldn't employ him, because he's not really, he actually really wishes he could just be a slave again, because with his free mind, he'll just be lazy and won't do nothing. And the watermelon became an image just because they wanted something that was shaped like our smiles, like big fucking watermelon smiles. So they picked that as a way of selling it. And then that becomes our relationship to watermelon for another 150 years or whatever it is.
So what you're saying is white people are really great at branding and PR.
Yeah.
And they are. And also the thing too about like Black folks and our conspiracy theories is that a lot of them are really about helping us overcome issues or deal with stuff. I mean, we also have some stupid things floating around, but usually these kinds of like this Willie Lynch letter is an example of like Black people saying, hey, like, this is how we come together. The Tommy Hilfiger thing that was made up, like, you know, that he said that he didn't want to sell to Black people. If anything, to me, that was Black people being like, we need to invest in our own clothing brands. And, you know, I think that a lot of our conspiracy theories are actually meant to help us as opposed to harm us.
I like that. That has an optimism to it that maybe
that Langston does not have in his heart.
No, it certainly isn't in my heart. But I didn't think about it that way. You know what I mean? Like I think when I heard the Tommy Hilfiger thing, I was just like, damn, they was real mean to Tommy, huh? but no, there is maybe an optimism to it where it's like maybe this is just reminding Black people that we don't have to invest our entire community into this brand that, even if he's not outwardly saying it, is not truly invested in the growth of the Black people.
100%. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I really like it.
I mean, I'm also making it up, but I mean,
no. We are not going to correct you.
No, that's what I would like to think. That's what I would like to think.
No, let that marinate for a second. It's okay. Yeah. to the point of making things up, in that same documentary, one of the things that they pointed out is that, Reconstruction happens. They try to make Black people lazy. That doesn't stick well enough because Black people continue to sort of like build and create, and Harlem Renaissance, all the cool things are sort of like happening for us in the world, despite the massive propaganda efforts to make us look like fucking idiots. And one of the things that they intentionally do then is they go, okay, Black people aren't lazy, they're violent. And they start introducing all these images of us with razor blades. So every fucking picture of Black people suddenly is no longer we're lazy, big old watermelon smiley motherfuckers. We have razor blades in every picture, and we'll cut you. And we're violent. We're sick with our violence. And that becomes the image that they start to circulate, because now it's, we can't be near them because of the dangers that they represent.
Isn't it crazy how Black people are everything? Like, there's so many stereotypes about Black people that at some point it's like, what? It's like the contradictory. It's like, they're stupid, they're docile, they're cunning, they're violent. They're like, the men are masculine and violent, they're feminine. There's like, it's all, the women are this, they're slutty, they're undesirable, they're this. There's like, what is it? What?
Yeah.
Pick a lane for us. Give us one thing to stick to.
Yeah, and that would be nice. I would like it if they just picked one lane.
Just give us one thing. Violent. Okay, we can work with that. It's everything. It's chaotic.
Yeah. Bori, what stereotype are you choosing for us? Which one do you want to be? We get to make a choice now.
There's a couple obvious front runners, right?
Yeah. And none of the easy, obviously big dicks. That's just a fact.
Okay. Well, then I'll go back to the drawing board.
That's all you have.
Yeah.
Nasty man. A nasty man.
I think we could do a lot with the sneaky one. That's how they got on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Louisiana Purchase. Sneaky as fuck.
That was sneaky. Oh, you crafty motherfuckers.
You sneaky little devil. So yeah, I'll take sneaky. I think that's
Sneaky's not bad. Sneaky's a pretty good one. I'm not going to name which specific groups, but we've seen.
I thought you weren't going to do one. I was like,
no, I'm not going to do it. But we could name a few groups who have really thrived under the sneaky stereotype.
Can we?
They've been called sneaky and they've been fine with it, and they continue to fucking thrive.
Oh, weird. Langston just hit the chat. It says Armenian? That's crazy, Langston. I didn't even know we had a chat feature on this. No, I'm just kidding. Langston didn't say anything. We'll throw everyone here. Please give us money.
Yeah, please give us money. But no, I do think sneaky isn't a bad one. Rochée, if you had to pick one, what would you pick?
I mean, I would say sexy.
Oh.
Let's go with sexy.
Okay.
I don't even know if that's a stereotype, but I didn't know that
was on. I didn't know that was on the table.
I think it is.
I'm just gonna say we sexy.
I don't think it's not on the table. I just didn't think that was like what the slave owners were walking around sort of struggling with. Like, God damn it, they're sexy.
Maybe though. She's in that field, glistening
a lot
in the
of
light.
People?
Just an obsidian masterpiece.
I mean, a lot of people's 23andMe's look interesting because they got some slave master in their fucked up minds.
Yeah.
Thought that. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sexy's good. Sexy's good.
Sexy's pretty good.
Which one did you take, Langston?
So stupid.
I like that we're power ranking our favorite stereotypes.
Oh my God.
I like, if I'm being completely honest, I do like that white people are nervous around us, and I don't want to lose
That's
that.
True. That's a
so
good one.
so unapproachable, I think is still one that I enjoy enough that I don't want to lose that. And I wish that it was unapproachable, but they still thought of us as very intelligent and very capable, so that they knew not to come near us, but we still benefited from all the respect that you would gain from somebody knowing that you're a smart, capable person. That said, they mix the metaphors and it becomes an ugly thing, but I don't like when they just feel super comfortable with me, so I'm sticking with unapproachable.
Please don't
that.
talk to me. Yeah.
I think these were 3 really good picks.
Yeah. So if you're out there and you're thinking about spreading stereotypes about Black people, we're sexy. Hey, we're sexy. We're unapproachable. And goddamn it, we're sneaky in a motherfucker. So
that's the clip. That's the clip for this episode. That's
crazy, sexy, cool. No,
you got one of them right.
One is correct. The other 2.
That's our album, man. I love that.
Man, sexy, sneaky, unapproachable. It sounds like a Tank album.
That feels like Rihanna, to be honest.
That's good. Album. Yeah.
That's Rihanna.
And who's a better Black person than Rihanna? I'll wait for you to name
a better Black. Name a better Black.
Name a
better
Black.
Robert Fenty is a top tier.
That's cream of the crop.
Mm-hmm.
I do think at its core, the Willie Lynch letter is probably not real. I think we can maybe agree on its existence not being true, but maybe its value to our community still being something worth holding on to. It seems like it still has a value for us to cherish, and we shouldn't just throw that away simply because we made up a white man and decided to tell people about it.
I don't disagree. I think there's value in it. When I read it, I'm like, yeah, this feels about right. And I think we should continue to teach kids that it's real.
Yeah. And one of the
if they can push a white Jesus, we can damn sure push a fake letter. Right?
Yeah. If there's a white Jesus, there's also a white devil, and y'all have to make peace with that. You have to make peace with the fact that this is he represents the white devil for us, and we need him.
It's like, I want this episode to do well. I also don't want anybody to hear it because I don't want them to know. I don't want to ruin Santa Claus. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to ruin it for people.
That's how I feel every week for a multitude of years.
And I do leave cookies out for Willie Lynch once a year. Little dry ass cookies I leave out for Willie Lynch.
You gotta get your kid to write a letter to Willie Lynch.
Yeah. I say to my daughter, I say, baby girl, we gotta write our letters to Willie. You gotta go to bed early. Willie Lynch is coming. Willie Lynch is gonna come and he's gonna, ooh.
And you don't want to see him because he's drunk.
He's drunk.
Terrifying.
And he's gonna make you hate your daddy, but he's coming.
Parts of him.
Parts of him you'll respect more than you realized. You'll respect him.
Oh man.
Willie Lynch.
Willie
Santa Claus Lynch.
I think we did it.
That feels like a good. That was because this was an important episode.
This was an important episode. We're really, Rochée, we're honored you joined us. Could you tell the people where they can find you and what cool shit you have going on?
Yeah, find me Rochée Rochee Jeffrey on Instagram. And yeah, the NAACP Image Awards vote for what's the goddamn name? Yes, we Cannabis. And support us. I'm blacking out.
You made it.
It's really bad that what just happened. Yeah, and performing stand up everywhere, and it's been such a joy to join you guys today.
We're glad you were here, Bori. You want to tell the people where they can find you?
No.
All right.
February 29th, watch Royal Crackers on Adult Swim, and then the next day on HBO Max. You got to watch it. I need money.
It's very funny. Let's not shortchange it
also,
one bit.
It's a very funny show. I'm on every episode.
You're very funny in it. I enjoy your character maybe the most of all the characters in it, and I don't just say that as your partner in this shit.
Wow, that's really sweet. Langston.
That was a really beautiful moment.
Yeah, it was really nice. I'm sorry I said that stuff about your hoodie.
Yeah, no, you really fucked me back there, but
I was lashing out, man. It's been a weird day. I'll tell the audience. I got my shit pushed back today.
Yeah.
and everything's been off.
Yeah, no, your hairline is it's not what it was previously. It's safe to say.
Do you want to show him?
I'll show him. My confidence is. We've had some hair issues on this podcast.
That's fair.
So I feel like it's just it's not so bad, but
no, it's not. Yeah, it's not as bad as you feel about it.
It isn't that bad.
But you compare that to how I usually feel leaving the barbershop, and I'll be honest, my confidence is at an all-time low.
I'll say this.
And that's the hoodie thing. It's just you were doing something daring with fashion, and I was being old-fashioned, and that's not cool, man.
You are a man who, for as long as we've been doing this, I think has really believed in that young man who's been cutting your hair. You've stood behind him.
I still do.
Beside him.
Players fuck up, but
yeah. No, you really stood. You really had his back, and he hurt you in a way that I think you got to confront him a little bit.
Yeah,
you got to say like, "Hey, bro, not for nothing. Last week wasn't your best work, and we got to get back on."
What if you did this before I got to Miami?
Come on,
because I go in before trips. Like, yeah, I'm home this week, but what if this was before a Miami weekend?
We gotta treat every day like
New
it's
York
game
looking
day.
Like this.
Every day is game day.
Everybody thinks I'm a hillbilly. I live in the mountains. You can't. Come on, bro. And he's like 26. You're too young for this.
No.
Maybe quit telling me how your dad put you on living single and more focus on my hairline not getting pushed back.
Okay, I'm going to say right now, I'm concerned about when you go back the next time. If he listens to this, he might deliberately fuck up your hairline again.
He listens to this in the way that a barber consumes your content.
Yeah,
he's
my barber,
not any deeper than 5 minutes, I promise.
My barber listened, quote unquote, listened to some episodes, but I don't think that nigga's making it to the end. I don't
know.
That's I don't think he's making it to the credits. You know what I mean? Like we're good.
and I'm going back, so you know whose fault is that?
Right. No,
you guys don't know him like I do, though. He loves me.
This is just a one-time thing. He would never hit me again.
No, sometimes love hurts. That's a dark end. The point is, watch that television show, please.
As always,
and like and subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe, do the things. As always, you can follow me at Langston Kerman on all social media platforms. If you are in the Chicago area, I believe there are still just a few tickets left for my special taping, February 19th at the Green Mill. You can buy those tickets. I would love for y'all to be there. Go to mymommatoldme.merchcentral.com. There are hats, there are pins, there are all sorts of cool things that you should check out. Shirts. I think I covered all the stuff that you can buy. Hats, pins, shirts, that's pretty much it. And they're all great, and we would love for you to be wearing the merch. And very exciting, we are planning some more live dates in the near future. We are not going to announce them just yet, but there's going to be a little more live shit for y'all to be able to check out that we'll tell you about in the near future.
Let's just say keep my birthday open.
Keep Bori's birthday open.
It's Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco, Spanish. The boy is Spanish. Deeply Dominican.
Yeah. Poppy, please.
And that's the whole shebang. Bye, bitch.